Woo! Good morning. How was everyone's weekend? How did it go? I see a bunch of you got some crazy amounts of snow, and I saw on our local weather this morning, some of you have even more coming through. No bueno for me. Oh my gosh. Then if anybody has any friends that are vacationing in Mexico, whew, if you are of the praying kind, I would get on my prayer bones right now and say, Dear God, deliver them out of there now. Deb said no snow here. Carrie said it's just cold. True crime beat, no snow, but it's in the 40s in Florida. Can someone get out a tiny violin for me? I always have to have the tiny violin when Floridians talk about their weather. My goodness, I need a tiny violin. Great Olympic weekend. Did anybody watch USA and Canada? Man, I don't even know how to follow hockey, and I followed every second of it. Now, if you're a real Canadian, remember, I still love you, and you have beat our asses plenty of other times. This kid, 24 years old, Jack Hughes, boy, he stole the show. He lost two twofers that came out. They were on the ice, and then he got the winning goal. He's talking to everybody, and he's like, I saw my teeth come out because he got a stick to the face. That was insane. Speaking of the Olympics, exactly, two Boston moms. I was just getting ready to get to that. I said, speaking of the Olympics, that game-saving goal that was made, I could not believe that chick got that done. And didn't both games go into overtime? Woo-wee! It was exciting. It was exciting. And if you missed it, we have a new champion in the game, or do they call it a game, of curling. Okay? Now, can you all see this? Yes, it's a cat.
Farm! Yes! Lauren, you can go! Just here. 78! We're there. Line's perfect. We're there. Take it, good. Really good weight. Nice, good. Perfect. Perfect. Great weight. Good. Yes! Yes! Farm! Yes! Lauren, you can go! Just here. 78! We're there. Line's perfect. We're there. Take it, good. Really good weight. Nice, good. Perfect. Perfect. Great weight. Good. Yes! Yes!
Now, I give credit where credit's due. That orange cat is Cat OG's cat Chip. All right, before we get to it, and whatever Candus is trying to stir up with Cher, let's take a minute, tell everybody good morning, and we missed you so much over the weekend. I know Carrie missed us because on Saturday she made a post saying that she had to find something to do Saturday morning because the show's not on. I'm like, should we start having Saturday morning shows? Woo! Carrie G said yes. Chrissy said yes, please. Yes, please. You know, even if we just did a weekend review. Yes, exactly. Oh, hold on. Teresa said, Brooks, it's my birthday. Woo! You all know what we have to do, Teresa. How old are you? If you don't want to say, I understand. I say celebrate every age. Well, except for me. When I turned 50, I sold my birthday to Pat Kay. Now, how are you celebrating, Teresa? Inquiring minds want to know. They do. All right, let's get to it. A couple of days ago, Cher from Voices Behind the Wall posted this on Facebook. I think a lot of you saw my post on the Crime Lines and Lies channel, the post I put up. Hey, Donald Wells, remember this is from Cher. Your beautiful wife wanted me on your ass about Summer. Why? Now, I think we can all figure out there is no love lost between Can't and Cher. But Can't decides that she's going to extend, I'll just say, the olive branch for metaphoric reasons. And she wants Cher's help to go after Dawn. Now, let's look at some of your comments because, well, they were more gold than USA hockey, okay? Lovely London said because she's trying to save her own ass. They're both going down. 7 alibis and SA charges included. Tick tock. Tina King said, who the hell is Dawn's beautiful wife? I think I missed something. Another reply is in this chain going, yeah, what? Did he get divorced and remarried? Of course, a lot of justice for Summer, very important. Cher comes in and says, wait for it. Wait for it. Grubby Goat said, wait, broke down the little red wagon. And Cher replies to her, she said, true that, waiting for a couple things to see what plays out before I speak, but I've been dropping breadcrumbs, and she has. And she has. May said, hey, y'all, what's going on with this post? What have I missed? Well, we are all patiently waiting. Debbie said, why is Candus reaching out to Cher? Candus hates Cher, so now she wants her help? Very puzzling, don't you think? Don't you think? Firefly said, please snap, please snap, please snap, 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 tell us. Well, we will know when we know, okay? So we're going to go back in time a little bit to when, and you can see all of this on Cher's channel. We'll put it in here, Voices Behind the Wall. But I'm just going to do the part 2 where Don really tried showing us his inner pedo. I still do not know if Don was at home that day. I have no idea. But I damn sure know Candus was. Okay? And it's like Ange said this morning, it is so easy to hate Don. It is. It is. His perversion, the ped thing. Okay, I'm just saying it like that. You know, and I mean, we can put it all together, especially when Can't reached out to her friend. Remember, this is her friend, Jinkies, and confided. I'm not saying a big secret spilled out because it freaked Jinkies out, and it would me too. Said, oh, what? Worry about no neglect charges. I just signed them over. Because she did that in Wisconsin. All right, so she knows how that works. And But she said she was worried about essay charges. All right, it's Metabolism Monday. We are live and shit. Let's get ready to rumble.
It's fucking live, you dumbass.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Can't stop.
Okay, whatever. Play your little game, Donnie.
All right, I'm gonna have to go. She don't think we're live and shit, okay? And she's fucking going off and acting like an alcoholic. I have to get off here now.
That's fine.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so
y'all.
much for talking to us.
Don, I'll
All right,
talk to you
thank
later.
All right, bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Okay.
Candace.
Let's go
Thank
to
you.
Victor later.
That is fucking live, you dumb bitch. You want to act stupid, man.
I just discussed my back.
Man,
That's all I asked.
fucking live, you fucking stupid bitch.
Oh, they just seen that. You're a dumbass. They just seen you punch me in my throat.
Whatever, man.
You're a dumbass. You're a real dumbass. You got real dumb fucking ass. They just seen when you throw me in the punch. Well, you're a dumbass.
Did you just get... What happened to your buddy Ernie, LOL? He's in the jail. Did you not know what happened to him? He's in the jail. I think he needs like $1,000 to get out. If you want to, you can call up the jail and get him some sweet moolah, and he can get out and razzle dazzle everybody again with all his stuff. And I think everyone knows he came on here to talk about his conversations with Cant regarding summer. All right, so like I said, we're going back in time. Your trusted source has two holds. Yeah, that's very obvious. That's very obvious. But he still had those conversations with Candus. They are recorded, and I've played them on. I don't care what Ernie says. Are you new here? Are you new? And nobody needs to time this person out or block him. I only care about what Candus said to him. And let's face it, Candus and Dawn, well, I'll just leave it right there. I think I'm over-explaining myself. He was involved in the trafficking of Summer. Well, I would call Hawkins County and turn that tip in if that's what you think's going on, because it's about Summer.
First, like this is part 2.
Part 2 interview with
I know
Dawn Wells, and once
People
again,
don't like when we call it an interview. So how about just
Now, I made it clear we don't need to time somebody out or anything like that for having a difference of opinion. If this person knows something, they need to call the police.
part 2 of Chit Chatting with Dawn Wells?
there you go. And once again, thanks, Dawn, for giving us your time.
Yes, thank
Well,
you.
thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. Okay.
All right.
As I'm sure you have seen, your sister-in-law, Rose, went missing.
Chrissy, Pat K makes the rules. Not you, not me, not MS Mama, not preschool granny. Oh, okay, so you're crazy. The TBI has nothing to do with the Epstein network. But go ahead and enjoy the show. Good Lord, do you know how to read? Do you know how to read? God damn. It's only 9:16. Shit. Somebody better put some tips in here so Bruce can go get her some box wine.
About 11 years ago. Of course, I'm sure you've seen it. Some people are trying to tie you or your wife or both of you and somehow think that maybe both of you are responsible for that as well. I wanted to ask you, where were you?
Would you like my receipts for where the money has gone? You'd be very surprised. If you want full transparency, Cash App receipts, send me an email. instead of just coming in and accusing me of something you know nothing about. I understand it's a very common thing in this world and it's very accepted, but I won't deal with it. That's called a joke. Have you been laid lately? Asking for a friend.
And your wife around that time, were you guys questioned in that at all? Or how did that kind of go?
We were questioned. We was in Arkansas and we just had, was just born. And so it was in Arkansas. I was working in Missouri at times and Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas, pretty much all over doing the same thing I do now, just doing construction.
Okay, this person that knows everything about me and possibly could, maybe more insight than I have on my own self. I dropped the link and you are more than welcome to come up and share what information you have that is facts.
But yeah, she just disappeared. They found her car parked somewhere. She was supposed to go to a bar and they found her car parked at a gas station, and that's the last time anybody ever seen her.
Okay. And so you were in a complete different state than Rose at the time.
Yeah.
And your wife as well.
Yeah, we was busy. Was a newborn at that time, so yeah, we was pretty busy with that.
Okay, and you both were questioning it, but obviously, if you're both in different states, clearly you weren't.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. Absolutely.
Well, I will leave that at that. I think that's.
I just want to ask, what was the three of yours relationship like? Like, did you know her? Because it was Candus's sister, right?
Yes, Candus's half sister.
Like, were you guys close at all? Was Candus close with her? Do you know?
A lot of people now, I think Cher picked up on something that I didn't pick up on a long time ago. Let me explain. Because remember, she talks to these people. She's had a lot of conversations, probably more than anybody else. Okay. She said, yes, Candus is half-sister. We were always led to believe that Rose is her full-blooded sister. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. StreamYard is frozen. Okay, I'm back. It's always been said that that is her sister. They have the same parents. They have the same last name. So Cher picked up on something that, well, I think we all have talked about. Who's the daddy? Who's the daddy? The only other person, because Candus doesn't, I can see some resemblance to her mom. I don't see any to her father, but I see a lot with her Uncle Daddy. So when I heard Cher say that, I thought, what? And it wasn't long after that we heard Uncle Daddy was getting out of the jail to go to a halfway house for doing horrible things to children. And there's a lot of incestual charges. Can I say that on YouTube? Okay. Can I say that? Can I please say that on YouTube? Come on, YouTube, cut me a break.
I know that her and Candus was close. It was her favorite, sister and everything, but I never met her before. Never met her or anything. So I wouldn't know, but I know she was really nice. but I've never talked to her or anything.
A lot of people think that Candus hated her sister, Rose, but then when that Chris went through your house, we had all noticed, everyone watching the scene right away in the kitchen, there was a picture of Rose. There is a picture of Rose hanging up there. And so, you don't do that if you are like you hate someone, like people are trying to make it sound like. So
No, that really tore my wife up bad. And then she's been dealing with that for years. It's been hurting her. Now Summer's been abducted, and so it's been horrible for her. She's really dealing with a lot. I mean, we both are, but it's taken a toll. I can tell and then with what Chris and others have done, she don't trust nobody no more. I tried to get her to come with me, and she's like, she just don't want to trust anybody anymore. And
I would be trusting everybody to keep my child's name out, and all Chris McDonough do is let her talk. I did not catch any leading questions. I caught nothing like that. But hey, maybe I'm just a real big idiot.
Apologize.
No, don't apologize. We understand. It's totally okay. We get it.
Yeah, she's afraid of everybody now. She's all messed up inside. And,
She has every right to be. That is okay.
Yeah.
The other thing they're saying, Don, is that when there was EquiSearch and the private search parties that were coming in, there's rumors going around that you only allowed searches around certain areas, but that you didn't allow your whole property to be searched.
Yeah, actually, I never got to meet Dave. I called him yesterday. I talked to him and tried to get him, TBI and their information, get them their phone numbers. So we're trying to get him back. I said some things about David Rader, and I was wrong. It was somebody else that was doing an interview with him, and I didn't know who Dave Rader was at the time.
Well, I mean, I'm sure with your first communication, he told you who he was. We know you know how to use the phone. We know you know how to use YouTube. You could have looked up EquiSearch. But instead, he went on the rampage and he said, boots on the ground. They're just out at the lake having fun. Boots to the bar. So they're just here to drink. No, they had their back against the wall.
But it was that other guy, and I don't know his name, that was saying that when he seen my video, his hair just stood up on the back of his arm, on his neck or whatever. And he just knew I was guilty. And I thought it was Dave Rader. And so I had to apologize to Dave Rader for that, because I didn't know which one was which at that time. But yeah, I've been in contact with Dave Rader. We're trying to get him back now, see if they can help us search, around our hills and everything with the new evidence that we've got and stuff that I think that you've got now.
Yep.
So we're trying to get him back. I'm sending him all that information and everything, and got him in touch with TBI in Hawkins County. So we're hoping. I don't know if we should say anything about all that.
Not yet. We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait on that. We'll do that a different day. Give TBI.
Never in my life have I ever seen parents of a missing child fight so hard against investigation tactics, investigation as a whole, extra search efforts. They've had a problem with all of it. Dogs on their property, well, those are called canines. Helicopters keeping them awake, well, they are looking for your daughter. Drones that he said kids just use. How come he wasn't at the state Congress with the director of TBI when he was asking for extra money to get an Air Force plane to fly over caves with rock penetrating radar from Warner Robins in Georgia. Why wasn't he there advocating as well to the Congress? We need help finding my daughter, and they are thinking this plane can help. They are not to be bothered. You will not see them at a press conference, nothing, because they say they don't trust anybody. They just don't trust anybody. Angie baby, Duty Ron don't take your BS, Don. Well, nobody should take Duty Rons either.
FBI a little time to do their thing. Yeah.
So yeah, but you didn't restrict anyone, like you let them search wherever around your property?
Oh yeah, from day one, they've been more than welcome to search all our property. They've searched it, at least 6 times, and then they come back a few more times to search. And yeah, they're more than welcome to come back. There's no problem. Yeah, I don't know what else to say on that, but
Nope, that's
Yeah, we just want to clear that up because some were saying that you were only allowing them to search certain areas on your property. So we found that really weird.
yeah, they didn't have to have any search warrants or anything like that. We haven't retained no lawyers in regards to Summer's disappearance or anything.
Why would any parent need a lawyer unless they're just getting advice to guide them through the process? We have seen that many times. We need some legal advice to know what the police are really doing. Oh, they didn't have to have no search warrants. Well, it's kind of a thing that goes on, and they do. They do. Now, when a child is missing, do you guys remember the Turpin case? When Jordan Turpin was outside and she had a cell phone and she knew how to call 911. There was no warrant there because there was a child at risk. And they explained that, on the 2020 special. They said, no, we did not need a warrant. Did not need a warrant because we knew a child was at risk. And according to her, several other children, and she was right. So him saying they didn't need a warrant, that's not how it works. Supreme Court Justice Don.
Anything like that. We don't have anything to hide. They're welcome. Chris, on the other hand, is not welcome because he turned it a nightmare, made us look bad in every way. But I'm not trying to attack him or anything, but I'm just trying to defend myself, the things he's trying to say.
Yeah, understandably.
Yeah. Okay, now some people are pointing out that they notice on June 15th that your daughter Summer has had candy, orange soda pop, a slushie at Sonic, but people are now, I'm sure you've read, trying to say, well, what kind of food did she eat? How come there was no real meals in there, blah, blah, blah. Do you happen to know what she all ate maybe on June 15th? Did they go out to eat anywhere, have a big breakfast at home before they went somewhere, or how that went at all?
I really don't have any idea on that, but usually her biggest thing that she likes is French fries.
Okay, so did she have any effing French fries that day, Dawn? And how come, I believe this interview was in August of 2021. You're telling me from June 15th, 2021 to this interview, you never asked Candus, well, what did you feed her? Dawn is the one that said you can't keep her out of the candy. They eat all the time. She loves French fries. She can't leave French fries alone. So what did she eat? We know how growing kids are. And this cold hot dog story was made up on the fly talking to Daisy. And the only person in the chat that bought that story, well, a few of Daisy's people and Daisy. Let's take a second and say thank you so much to Angel P. Growing the family. If you received a Crime Lines and Lies membership, well, you know who to thank. No idea what his missing daughter ate the day she went missing. The day. Oh, I don't know about that. Okay. That was never a conversation. Don't even tell me he's that dumb. That or he knows that for some reason they wanted Summer on an empty stomach for another reason.
She's always wanting to stop and get a French fry and a soda. And, you know, every day before I left for work, she says, Dad, will you bring me candy? Or she'd give me a list. And so every day when I come home, she'd come running down the hill at the truck and meet me and open my door and just say, Daddy, did you bring me candy? And I says, yeah, Summer, you know I did. But there's a couple times I'd forget, I'd be tired or whatever. And she'd say, that's okay. You know, miss her so much.
I can't even imagine, man.
Hold on, is he crying? Is Dawn really crying? You can look at Cher's face. I don't think she believes that the sobbing is real. Diamond Eyes, good morning. I can see you, my friend. And I want to say thank you to Raven. Look at you. Grow in the fam. I think about Dolly Parton and Steel Magnolias and says, nobody cries alone in my presence. You see Cher looking up at the screen like, that bitch is fake crying.
That just made me think of Leland always asking me, "Do we get candy? Did you get my gum? Did you get my Tic Tacs?" I'm so
I haven't had to buy candy at all since she's been gone. So I haven't had to buy candy. Just every time I stop at a gas station, anything, you know, I think about it. When I pull in the driveway, the other day, Candus come pulling in the driveway, and I run out to the truck to get Summer, and I forgot for a minute that she wasn't with us any longer. And, so that was really depressing.
She's not with us anymore. Wait, said, what was the list our Summer gave Dawn on the 15th? I don't know what list you're talking about. What do you mean? What did Summer give Dawn on the 15th? I don't know what you mean.
See, you know.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wish for everything I got that she'd just magically just be home safe.
Mm-hmm.
And there is absolutely no clues. Nobody. We don't know the TBI. Nobody. We have nothing. No.
They're not telling you. There's no we. Okay, there's no we in this scenario. Okay, there's no we. We have nothing. You have nothing. They're not going to tell you. For one, you're all over YouTube garnering attention. Okay. Two, I'm just going to say they look at you as suspicious. Four, I can imagine a lot of things. Sarah said a candy list. Well, does Summer talk in her sleep? Because very early on in Summer's disappearance, it was said that she was asleep when he got up and went to work. So does she talk in her sleep? Or did she give him the list the night before? I don't know about that. Because I can't imagine him taking a list like that on the 14th since he had a really bad day.
I don't know which way to go. It's definitely is going to take a miracle. There's no other way than a miracle from God. I mean, that I can see. There's no other way. So I pray constantly. try to stay in scripture, and, you know, commandments is a must. You know, I've been trying to do that for quite a while, but I'm not perfect, of course. But I see my baby. If I don't, I mean, you know, if something has happened to her, I'll see her in the resurrection. You know, Jesus pointed out, you know, this life is nothing. This death is nothing. It's the second death that's the one we got to be leery of, is the second death, not this one. This life doesn't even matter. But yeah.
Life doesn't matter to you. Life doesn't matter to your wife. Because when kids become an inconvenience and you have treated them so horribly, all you have to do is check yes or no on the CPS forms, and the state takes your kids. Okay? So, and don't tell me your life doesn't matter. All you've been doing this entire time is trying to save your own ass. All your wife has been trying to do this whole time is save her ass. All your mother-in-law has done is one interview to say, they know where I'm at. I'm not hiding. No, they said they've had no communication. That's what they said. They're not cooperating.
I hate to have to keep asking you these questions now. Ugh. Summer, some people think because we didn't really hear her a lot, some people think she didn't really speak that much. Was Summer a big talker? Was she more quiet and reserved? Did she know how to swim also and love to swim? We saw a little bit, but people were wondering, does she know how to swim?
No, we never taught her how to swim yet. She does. I won't. You know, my son, I taught him how to swim on his back, so he knows how to, you know, slow down and take it easy, swim on his back. And when we went out to Pineview Dam, he took off across the dam. I was scared to death. But my son Donnie went out and got him, or you know. But he scared the daylights out of me out there in that deep water, you know. But he can swim on his back. But we would never take our kids.
Our kids don't know how to swim, so we just turn them loose in a toxic ass pond with no life jackets. So Candus can get high and watch Hunter drink twisted tea on the side of the pond where they drain Eastman Kodak chemicals into. So there you go. It is not a maintained beach. It's not for families. There's a very, very nice beach area with picnic tables and all kinds of stuff on the other side. On the other side. But you turn your kid out there, kids, because we've seen them all, with not even floaties, not even an inner tube, nothing. And when people talk about the dry drowning, I'm like, she might have gotten a belly full of that water. Stranger things have happened.
Anywhere that's unsafe or deep water or anything like that, there's no way. But I even talked to Candus about that a lot. You know, made sure, you know, you can see in the videos of shallow water, you know, everything. So, yeah.
Well, it does make a little bit more sense with, I don't know if it's true or not, but Hunter had said she had slipped and gone underwater. So it made a little bit more sense that she might panic a little bit if she couldn't actually swim and, you know, tread water and bring herself back up. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's real leery anyway. She won't go. She, you know, it's just like around our house. The only time, you know, the boys went down to the creek that time, and she would only go about halfway. She wouldn't even go all the way down there with them. And we taught them to go in pairs, at least in pairs, if not all together, not ever by themselves.
And that's normal. I've taught the kids the same thing in the woods there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that's normal. I think any country folk will understand that, Don.
Yeah.
And
every one of them's got a knife, just in case,
More safety. Can't swim, but we're just going to throw you out in the toxic pond. Or, I've seen some of the trips they've been on where they're in, I'm not going to say like a roaring river or like Whitecaps or anything, but they're definitely in water that's moving. No life jacket, no inner tube. I mean, actually, I did see an inner tube around summer one time, but I mean, honestly, that inner tube was 50 times bigger than her, okay? That inner tube looked like it could fit Allie. But for safety, we have all our kids carry knives. Okay. But okay, so the knife-wielding boys didn't notice somebody coming up and taking their sister. Okay, doke.
So Chris asked you to describe the scenario of your daughter Summer being abducted. He asked you to describe that, which they were analyzing yesterday. I was wondering if you could re-describe what you think in your mind happened to Summer, because you had said something and they're picking it apart. I'm sure you watched it. So after you answer that, I'll kind of say some more.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, because I know that Summer would never leave from around our house, but she has gone outside by herself a few times. And I'd say, boys, you can't leave her outside by yourself. But we usually, we'd go outside and she'd be right there close by or whatever. So,
boys, you can't leave your sister outside, whether she's 2, 3, 4, 5. It's their responsibility, right? They're kids as well. Are these two incapable of watching their daughter?
she would never go far.
I have told my sons before, watch your little brother. I have to go to the bathroom real quick. When I come in, they're just watch him for a second. Then I got to where I was like, never mind. I would sit on the toilet holding their little brother.
Away. And I knew that. We've been trying
By the way, he wasn't like 7 years old or anything. He was a baby.
to teach her that you can't, wild animals, everything else. I've seen a bobcat before. I've seen some wild dogs in the area. I've seen them run off across the roads on my way to work with chickens and stuff, And so we tried to teach her the best we could. And so when on my way home, Candus couldn't find her, for 30 minutes after calling 911. It took me probably 30 minutes to get home. So I knew they were searching around the top of the house. So I drove immediately down to the bottom of the property, figuring they probably hadn't looked down there yet. That's the first place I went, down all the way down to the creek. And when I seen my boys down by the creek, all three of them together, and I seen my neighbor coming around the other side of our hill to my left, I knew at that point that Summer had been abducted, or Summer was not around, because she would never leave from around the house. So I turned the car around and drove I don't know if I looked in the shed at that time or not, that little shed there at the bottom. I can't remember if I come back or not, but I drove up to the house, and I believe there might have been a cop car or two there. I think there.
Do you think or do you know? This is about your daughter, Dawn, because in one interview, you said you beat the police there. Now, there could be one or two there. You see, if one thing's a lie, it's all a lie. If one thing's a lie, it's all a lie. It can't be both ways. Now, can the TBI, with their trained minds, sift through the lies and find out what's really going on? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because even a broken clock is right twice a day. Ilyanka saw a bobcat in the city in northeast Ohio. Really strange. We had a bobcat loose in Tulsa. And I told OJ, I said, your great grandpa is out, so you have to stay in the house until the game wardens come up and get it. And we were watching it on TV, and OJ honestly seemed to think that he is exactly like a bobcat.
There was a couple there, if I'm not mistaken. I could be, but you know, that's when everything started. Time either started slowing down or speeding up or whatever. I don't know, but it was just, I just knew in my heart that she wasn't nowhere around. I knew somebody had grabbed her.
You said, I don't know, I think somebody grabbed her and probably threw her in her car. Now they're trying to say you let slip her so that you know the abductor is possibly a female or possibly maybe your wife took her somewhere. Now,
this is very interesting because he did say this. I think she grabbed her and threw her in the car. We know that Can't went and saw Fred that day. We know Can't rubbed elbows with Chad Arnold. Laura was out there talking to her. She messaged Marlena to tell her that Summer was missing. I know people say that she's lying, but she says all of this has been turned in. We also know that Dawn has said to at least two creators we know of that TBI said we really need you to talk to her about the timeline because her timeline makes no sense. And here we are. Candus had a very, very busy day. And that in itself is an anomaly because Candus is such a lazy person. She just had to get her mom's plastic knee looked at. She just had to pick up Hunter. She just had to get milk and cheese. She just had to buy Hunter a vape. She just had to go swimming. She just had to do all these things. She tells Hunter, we're going fishing. There's no tackle. There's no bait. They jumped in the water and basically jumped back out. Why? For a video, for an alibi.
Me, I explain it away. You're always talking about Summer. That's a her. You have her on your brain. So you just said her. I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I really don't know. I haven't been able to think right since this stuff's happened.
Yeah.
I still ain't right at all. The only reason I go to work because I've been doing it for so long. I can't even work. I've been to work the past 3 days and I haven't got one thing done.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry. It keeps bothering you all day.
It's not you. It's everything else. Everything. It's not just you. We want to try to find our daughter and share information with everybody that we trust anyway. And then Candus, she's pretty tore up. I've never seen her like this. So trying to help her all I can. But like I say, I can't think right. So I could have said anything. It's hard to say.
I didn't really think too much of.
To be fair and unbiased, I will say if it was any other missing parent saying I was in such a panic, there's some things that just they're not clicking, which is why I had to go to therapy. The police set us up with therapy to go through the events of the day, like anything we can remember and things like that. However, when it comes to Dawn and Candus, them not thinking straight is only CYA. They're covering asses. Cover your ass. Okay? That's it. That's what they're doing. They have manipulated, they have played pranks, they have received money for things that they... Listen, I'm not saying gas and brakes aren't that important, but shoot, somebody sent Candus like 5 cartons of cigarettes. Summer don't smoke. What are you doing sending Candus all these cigarettes? How does that help Summer? How?
But, you know, they're just trying to milk the show, whatever.
Well, they're just looking at every little thing you say and overanalyzing it and looking for things that are suspicious. But I always say everything looks suspicious when looked at with suspicion. Mm-hmm. So it's you kind of can't win in that scenario.
That's the thing with the statement I made with Chris is I was, being absolutely truthful, and they can't see the truth. They can't see that I'm just being the plain truth. I don't understand that. Way over analytical and everything.
Mm.
The problem with Chris, the problem with Hawkins County, the problem with the FBI, who won't even return his calls, the problem with the different agents with the TBI that don't see eye to eye with Dawn and Candus is because they don't believe them. It's not seeing eye to eye. If somebody tells you something totally ridiculous, are you not going to have a follow-up question and go, now hold on, how did that happen? That makes no sense. Don't you? Hey, I have a friend I do it with every day. I'm like, this makes no sense, but hey, carry on. Carry on. Enjoy. But they take such offense at people not believing them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other thing too is they're tripping up on the dogs. You're saying you're at work. Candus was gone most of the morning and afternoon to the lake and hospital with grandma. They're wondering, how did you know that that most of the dogs weren't around all day then, if nobody was home?
Well, I don't know if they were there all day or not because I wasn't there. That's impossible. But I just noticed that they weren't around at the time when I got there.
Yeah,
I think 1 or 2 filtered in, but for the most part they weren't there. And then the next day they were all there because when they brought the dogs in, and they say everybody was taking pictures and everything, we had to take them all and put them in the back of our Suburban so the cadaver dog or whatever the bloodhound could do its work. So we had to catch them all, keep them locked up.
So I actually didn't even get to tell you this yet.
What do you mean you had to do it all? You mean you had to put up your own dogs so trained dogs could help look for your daughter? And you're seriously complaining about that?
But I had somebody email me this afternoon, and her best friend is a home health nurse for one of your neighbors. And she sent me an email and said, absolutely, your dogs are always found. In fact, her exact words were, they go to her house and they pee on her car, on the tires of her car all the time. And that, yeah, your dogs are known to be in packs running all down the road and at other people's houses. And they do.
Woo! Oh my gosh. I missed that years ago. They come out, Dawn and Candus's dogs, and they're always on other people's property, pissing on their tires. Not the Wells dogs. Come on. Weren't they all in the puppy bowl? Don't they all go to training, grooming, get their teeth cleaned and everything? Their vaccinations? No, they're feral dogs. They're inbred and everything. You have like one mama dog, and then next thing you know, her own pups will get her pregnant again. It is insane. Do you remember a couple of years ago, or maybe not even that far back, I don't know, when Candus was outside and they had a new mama dog that she went in the woods to get because she was worried about the dog. She went in the woods to get that dog. And they chained the mama dog to the tree because they suspected she was in heat, so she wouldn't get pregnant. OMG.
Wander off quite a bit. So
Yeah, and these are stray dogs. I mean, we don't claim them as our own because they're all our strays that we just take care of. You know, so we're definitely not going to be claiming them and be liable for them, if you will, because they're just dogs that people drop off. I don't know. And I'm not going to shoot them, so.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
You want to say hi, Dave?
I just know you tried to call him, so I was just trying to connect with
Right. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's my pastor, Dave. I'm sorry. Nick him up, say hi.
Okay.
Oh, say hi for us.
Yep. Maybe he'll interview with us sometime, him and Robin.
Yeah. Well, you know, him and some of our church members, Robin done an interview with Chris, I think, and now she won't want to do anything anymore either.
I've been talking.
You know?
Yeah. People really jumped on the hate bandwagon with her, so she's been also worried about her family. So yeah, it's too bad people are doing that.
Yeah, they're just vultures. They gotta hate everything, and like they're even coming after me now.
Yeah.
And I haven't said anything bad about anybody, but they're still coming at me too. Like it's just part of the game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, but yeah, she's the sweetest girl ever, and Summer loved her. And every time Summer would go up to her, she didn't just shoo her away. She'd pick her up every time and love on her every time. Never got tired of holding Summer, and I know she was tired. So, yeah.
What was Summer's favorite candy? You mentioned she always wanted candy. What would be the number one thing she'd want you to bring home?
You know, it really didn't matter what kind or whatever, but I would always get her a big bag of candy, and I'd say, now you distribute it to your brothers, okay? And she said, okay, Dad. And so I'd just give her a bunch of stuff, and she'd eat a little bit, but she'd distribute it to her brothers, you know. And
was she a fan of sour? Did she like sour candy?
I don't think so, but I really don't know. I didn't. I bought her Tic Tacs, just a bunch of different stuff. Can't remember what they're called, everything that's called, but just all kind of stuff. I miss her so much. Oh my gosh.
I can't imagine.
Do you know the swimsuit from June 15th? Was she wearing a swimsuit? Where did she put her swimsuit on? At home with your wife? At Hunter's house? Do you know anything about that?
I think Candus would always bring an extra set of clothes. I think she would, if I remember right, because I didn't get to go a whole lot. I'm always at work, but every once in a while I'd meet them up there or whatever. But I believe she would have her swimsuit on, and then once she got out of the water, she would have a set of clothes so she could put dry clothes on her. And I believe that's how it worked, but I'm not exactly sure.
Funny he didn't bring up peppermints. I thought we were told that's her favorite candy.
Do you know where the swimsuit is now? Is it still at home? You guys have it at home?
I have no idea, and I wouldn't doubt it if TBI has it, because they come in and the forensics, they took a lot of clothes. They took all kinds of stuff out of there. Our TVs, we had a Canon camera, that's gone, and we had a lot of pictures on that. And so we don't know if we're going to get any of that back. I'm thinking, somebody else took it, not the FBI, but somebody else. And I'm thinking we might not get that back. I don't know. I hope we get it back, but it's pretty expensive.
They gave your cell phones back immediately, right?
Yes. Yeah. They took them for about 30 minutes.
Then why was Candus at AT&T with Grandis getting new phones? Why did they also get one for you? Why? They did that on the 18th, and then they went to the water park. I have the pictures of them at AT&T getting phones. So no, they didn't keep anything for 30 minutes and hand it back. And over the years, their phone numbers have changed many, many times. Let's not forget about the phone dump when Dawn went to jail for the violation of probation for the DUI. Tim Mullen downloaded all the data off the phone, which, by the way, the police have much better equipment than that weirdo. And Candus said she gave the phone to the uppers. So right there, we know it's a new phone.
Or whatever, they took them back and do whatever they do to them. I don't know what they do, but they brought them, right back and handed them to us.
The red truck. So on part one, when we sat down with you, I don't know if maybe we got days mixed up, but you had on June 15th, the same day Summer went missing, the morning, like before you left for work, the police were there. Is this the same red truck? Is there two red trucks? Are we getting days mixed up? Can we go over the red truck? And one last time, I promise this is going to be the last time I ask. And how did that tip come to? Was it you that was the eyewitness? Did a neighbor say it? Or how did the red truck come into play? And when did you, The red truck that they're looking for is an eyewitness account of a truck that was parked at the bottom of our driveway the day Summer went missing, or right around that time Summer went missing. So we don't know who this eyewitness is or what. We don't even know if it's a Toyota Tacoma. We just know it's a red truck with a ladder rack. That's all we really know about it. The other red truck that I took pictures of that morning, I was about 8 days ago or so, 9 days ago, I was headed to work, and there was a guy right there at the bottom of our road, right there at the bottom of our driveway, that wanted me to pull start his four-wheel drive, or his four-wheeler. And so I said I would, and the police pulled up and was asking questions and asked if I could pull that four-wheeler over to his truck, and he was high-centered, that little truck that was high-centered there. So the police started asking him for paperwork and all kind of questions and stuff. They all know who I am now, so he wasn't asking me any questions, but I asked if I could take a couple pictures, and he said, "No problem, Mr. Wells." And I said, "Well, I'm heading to work." And he says, "No problem." So I guess he helped him get that truck off of there or whatever. I don't know. But okay, so this is This is different days then.
Yeah, it was only about 9 days ago or so when this happened.
Okay.
About 3 in the morning.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, we got that mixed up then.
Yep. Oh, that's good. Okay. Now people have a picture floating around. There's a yellow Jeep or truck in your driveway. That's your coworker, and they're kind of getting timeline mixed up because they thought maybe you worked with the one guy 7 years ago. How come he was there the day before or whatever? Could we go over that again?
No problem. Okay, so Dudley, the guy that I rehired, worked for our company about 7 years ago. And he went through all of our crews, and everybody fired him, and he ended up, well, first let me back up. They put him with me first, and I worked with him for half a day, and I went home at 11 o'clock. I come back the next day, and by 11 o'clock, I'm like, there is no way, you're going to have to go. He started, I told him, you go work on that apartment over there, and I'll do this one over here. I don't know what was up with him, or maybe it was me. I don't know. But anyways, I just knew I couldn't work with him. But he went, after that, he went through all the crews and everything, and they all let him go. They didn't, he ended up getting fired pretty much by every crew we have. And
Why did Don agree with Dudley to split the contractor fee 50-50? That is a really odd thing to do. And contractors do not do that. They do not. And let's face it, Don is not an independent contractor. He works for Tucker Drywall. How come Don told the authorities that he believed Dudley done it, and he drove all the way to Bristol, Virginia to give him $300 as his last paycheck? For one, that's not his responsibility. He's not the boss. Two, there's other ways to get people their money as opposed to making such a trip knowing that your daughter is missing. But hey, the same day, Candus and Grandis were at the water park and getting new phones.
and that was 7 years ago. So here it is, in the present time, he gets a job again with one of our crews, and they're saying that, he's having problems, this and that. And I thought, well, I'll be the good guy and try to give him a chance and see what we can figure out and work out. And it didn't take long to figure out that I couldn't work with him. But I attribute it to him being on some kind of serious drug or something. I don't know, I don't have no proof or anything like that, but it was pretty bad and obvious that something was really wrong. And he was yelling at me one day. I've been with these guys for 13 years this time, and he was telling me where to go. So I went to lunch and come back, and I told him pretty much where to go. And so he was furious with me, very furious. And he called my bosses constantly and told them all kind of stuff to try to get me fired and everything else. And so that day I fired him. Well, the next day is when Summer come up missing. The very next day. He has an alibi for where he was, but through some of the police agencies and stuff, we found that he does have ties with Tony and some other of their friends and stuff. And then we find out.
Well, for whatever reason, he's talking about the red truck. And at the time, he was friends with Daryl Jacobs. Green Eyes? There's the truck. That's the truck. Mama Bear has had this for a long time. I could have sifted through all my stuff, but would take forever. That's the truck they're talking about. Maybe Dudley was tired of doing all the work and getting a penance pay. Maybe he was tired of Don sitting on the bucket and watching YouTube movies or watching people do meth on YouTube and accusing him of doing meth. I don't know.
You know, Tony lives, and that's the guy that tried to abduct the 12-year-old boy in Kingsport. And he had tried to abduct him 2 days after Summer disappeared. And Tony has been staying on property by our house 1.5 miles away from us. And we don't know this guy. We don't know anything about him. We just now found out he lives 1.5 miles away from us. And so we're trying to figure out what his mother's name is and trying to figure out where this property is. But I'm pretty sure TBI has probably already figured all this out, and they probably already searched that property. But we're just trying to make sure and do what we can, you know, because this just makes sense. This guy, and plus he had a truck like similar. They're saying his niece got a hold of us and said that he had a truck similar to the one they're looking for, or exactly like it. But we don't know. We can't confirm all this right now. It's just all speculation or whatever. But or hearsay, however you want to say it. So we're trying to figure it all out and do what we can. And but it's interesting to know that he was just 1.5 miles from us all this time. And so if there's a connection there, and there's possibly a drug connection of some kind of drug, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this behavior. I've never seen anything like this before. And it's pretty scary because, I mean, he's been my number one suspect all along, you know, for reasons of trying to get back at me or whatever. But the guy's in the clear as far as the police are concerned. He's got an alibi, but we also know he has ties with this Tony. I don't know. So we're just trying to figure all that out right now and do what we can and get David Rader to come back, hopefully, and police involved any way we can. I wish we could share more information, that we just know, you know, where they've been, what can we do, and stuff like that. It's like they don't want to share info, and I guess there's good reasons why, but we want to do everything we can for our daughter.
But have you? Help is help, but you don't want the police's help. You don't want to cooperate with the police. You just want them to believe anything you say. That's it. Dave doesn't want to talk to you. He made it clear. He was talking to another YouTuber saying you were impossible and that you're basically just a mean-ass drunk. And as he's talking about what he's doing for Summer, the only word Don knows is F you, F you, F you. He don't want to talk to him. Why would he want to talk to him? No.
But I guess this is where the public comes in. You know, if she's not in this area, that means she's out there somewhere amongst the people. So we're just hoping and praying the people will help us, you know.
Yeah, that's the hope, that maybe someone will hear about this, see a picture, and recognize her somewhere. I mean, that would be the best way that this could come to a conclusion, that's for sure.
Yeah, and if with these guys, you know, the criminal element, they wouldn't want to leave no evidence for somebody. I mean, it scares me to think of that. But anyways, we got to give it all to God anyway. I mean, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with it. I love my daughter. She was my whole world. She would only come to me for the first 18 months of her life. And Candus had, you know, she had a hard time.
So you're telling me you're working almost 24/7, according to you, Don, but Summer would only come to you for the first 18 months. So what did she do? Just lay on the floor? Okay, OJ, we're back to knocking things off. That's enough. That is enough. I've got important shit to do. Important shit to do. Quit knocking stuff off. Don't you shake your head at me. My goodness. You need to go find something to do, OJ. Go back in your room and watch that bird porn. You know those birdies that are in the water fountains all the time? Gotta be kidding me. No one's going to deal with someone like Dawn. It's very easy to say, thank you. That's it. Thank you.
You know, it hurt Candus, but she had plenty of time to win her love. She got to go to all these places, and I'm glad she did. All the time I was at work, and you know, Candus got to go and do a lot of fun stuff with her, and I'm so glad that she got to do that with her. Yeah.
Okay. On June 15th, everyone knows you called your wife. Could you kind of give us a little details about that? Do you kind of remember, was it morning, afternoon, later afternoon when you called her? Do you remember?
Bingo, Mama Bear. They want help but don't want help. Make it make sense. It's got to be the type of help that agrees with Dawn's psyche, okay? What little of it there is. It's got to be the type of help that agrees with Candus's character, what little of it is, okay? Cussing out people that are trying to help you isn't the way to get things done, okay? You see, there was no money exchanged here. They're doing this out of their foundation, okay? The help they want is cold hard cash to Candus's Cash App, which Dawn said he didn't know anything about, and she wasn't sharing that with him. Not our can't. Oh, her not sharing, or they want someone to say, I totally understand what you're saying, and they need to be looking somewhere totally different. And then again, the show we're doing, why is Candus reaching out to Cher, saying, I need you to get on Donnie's ass about Summer? Seems to me someone's on her ass, and she thinks the way to turn the tables would be through YouTube. That's not how evidence works, unless evidence is spewed on the tube.
Remember how that conversation went at all? Because Hunter's saying you called about, two people touching children or whatever. So could you kind of tell us if you remember what time the call was and how that conversation went?
Well, the only thing I know is, I call her from time to time just to see what she's doing. And she said that she's taking care of some prescriptions or whatever. It seemed to me that it was later than that. But because I made up my mind, well, they're busy doing this and whatever, I may as well just stay late at work. So I was working late, had to sit and talk with Jamie for a good long time. And then my boss come around making fun of me for using my car to put drywall tools in. And so he knows where I was at. But about 30 minutes, I'd say, after my boss left, I got that call from Candus, and she's frantic and everything. I says, well, just in case, call 911. And so I finished packing my tools in the car, threw them in there actually as fast as I could, and got in the car and headed down the road, and I called 911 myself. And then once I got done with that, I talked to her on Messenger all the way home, and I was flying. I think I made it, like I say, I've said it before, but about 30 minutes. And that's when I drove straight to the bottom of the property because I knew they were searching all around by the house. And I hadn't heard, they found her or anything. So that's why I went straight to the bottom of the property to look around that area.
So you would guess maybe an hour and a half before Candus called you and said Summer was missing, that you called her?
Okay, I'm not understanding what you're saying. Can you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just the time that you called her that day. About what time was that?
Like how far in between calls, between you and her having that call when she's picking up prescriptions to she's calling you saying Summer's missing? Do you know how long?
Yeah, I honestly can't say, but I remember. Only thing that I can remember, it was thinking, well, I might as well just work late because they're busy doing other things, and there's no point in me going home because I don't want to go home and sit there by myself. So I figured I'd just work late that day. And that's, yeah. Golly.
Yeah. Okay.
Snake just talk about snakes.
Oh.
Oh.
He just went under my feet.
Oh, geez.
It's just a gardener. It's just a gardener, so go.
I still would have screamed like a little girl.
Anything that you guys have been able to do to just kind of maybe escape the craziness for a little bit or anything like that?
No, there's been absolutely nothing for us. For the first week or more, and still goes on. We've been on Facebook day and night, you know.
Oh, we know. Those were the good old days. That's when Candus was changing her picture to make it AI, and she was playing games, looking for her, who's her naughty elf and stuff like that. Don was putting up all kinds of Bible scriptures, which he was changing the words to. He was blaming President Biden. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They were on Facebook day and night. That is for sure. That is for sure. Yes, the boys were home. We know that for a fact. That's been confirmed. That's been confirmed through the press conferences. Does Don know where they're at now? Nope. Should Don know? Nope. Has Don garnered up any money to adopt his own son, Josie? Nope. Will he? Nope. It's just a talking point for him to look like a victim for his own wrongdoing. He does nothing but hurt other people and act in the most inappropriate ways, but it's everyone else's fault. Reba, is it possible Dawn took Candus's car so if CPS came by, they would think Candus wasn't home? Now that makes all the sense in the world, and she made sure to be gone. And remember, he said to Clyda Trent, even though Lisa K. Ruitt said it's a lie, that they were coming back on the 16th. Great comment. Great job. It's a double-edged sword. For one, Don has an alibi because he had Starlink with him all day. Okay, because he was in Candus's car. Grandis drives a hunk of junk. So both cars are gone. So in case CPS shows up on the 15th, they made sure to be gone as long as possible. As long as possible. And they were not about to let them see Summer. Your guess is as good as mine as to why not. Your guess is as good as mine as to why they didn't really seem to have an issue with their boys being taken by CPS. Your guess is as good as mine as to why Kent confided in not just Jinkies, but two other people that I know of, and said she was really sweating that because she was afraid they were going to get them, her and Donnie, they were going to get some SA charges.
Trying to get help from people to help find our daughter. And we don't watch TV. We don't. There's nothing. I don't want nothing anymore. I mean, people.
Kat said, but they left the boys home locked in the house. So how would they have explained that to CPS? You answered your own question. CPS was not there for the boys. And Josie is old enough to watch his little brothers. They're not going to break into the house. Now, if the house catches on fire, that's a different issue. But this is a rural area. I stayed home by myself when I was 12. If CPS came to the door, they wouldn't think anything of it. I mean, Josie was like 12 years old at the time. Yeah, they're not going to bring their axes and come in. But that's a very good point. They weren't worried about the boys being there. They were worried about Summer being there. They had to make sure Summer was out of sight, out of mind that day. Don took Candus's car, even though he said, well, I pay $650 a month on it, might as well drive it sometime. I totally agree with you, Reba. That makes more sense than anything Don has said.
Say we should go out to dinner or we should do that. I don't want to enjoy anything without my daughter anymore. I come to this church here. I can see my daughter run up this hill.
Those boys aren't going to answer the door. No. Trust me. The fear of God was put in them. Anyone knocks on that door, you don't answer. Don't even think about it. I don't care if they got 40 brand new pizzas out there. Or it's the Publishers Clearinghouse. You do not answer that door. And hell, probably could have told them, CPS has been lurking around here, and if you answer that door, they're going to take you. They're not the type of parents that soft soap anything to their children.
To the top and wave at me and run down and play and all over this place. She'd be all over this church visiting people and just having a blast, you know. That's why I wanted to come here. And
is her memorial there where you are?
no, that's in that little memorial thing's at the Solomon's Temple Baptist Church out there by where we live, but there's no cell service out there. But this was her church. This is where she was at home at, right here. She loved it. She loved it, you know. She always loved women that were, you know, that women of, I can't think of the word, that they're professional women, you could say. She looked up to professional women and could see herself like these women, you know, in the future. And that's why she hung on to all these. She just loved to, I guess, see herself like that. She would visit with everybody. They tried for the longest, you know, you got to sit down somewhere. You got to get down, sit down. But she refused, and I pretty much give up on her. You know, most all the kids would sit there and behave, but not Summer. She would be all over the place. And that's okay.
It is, yeah. She marched to the beat of a different drum.
She is. Oh, yeah. A true spirit. I know it well. Do you have a prayer? Was there a prayer that was Summer's favorite that you could share with us?
No, we kept it pretty basic with her, you know, love God. We love you, Jesus. Love you, you know, love all of us kids. And, you know, when it comes to the kids, we kept it real basic, you know, when it comes to prayers like that. You know. So I don't really remember anything specific, but I was trying, you know, before all this happened, we would read out of the Great Controversy every night with the boys. We didn't Summer, and we didn't really make them listen, but we was trying to, help them understand the importance of that book in the future, because they're going to see all this stuff happen.
That's why you have Sunday school. Okay, that's why they go to Sunday school and they learn about like Jonah and the whale and they sing their songs. And as they get older, you develop into different chapters of the Bible that are more adult-like. But as we remember, when Don was talking to Jeff Bobo, he said he was really worried about where Summer could be. Not physically on this earth, mind you. He meant heaven or hell, because he said she did not understand the Bible or how to keep a commandment. Jeff Bobo goes, yeah, God doesn't hold that against kids. No, he does not.
Sunday law and all that, it's going to happen in their time. And they're going to have to, all these kids today are going to have to make a choice tomorrow, about the Sunday law. And it could be like, they might have to give up their life in order to keep the commandments, but potentially.
Looks like I need to do a totally separate show now. Sometimes you give up your life to keep the commandments. Part of Dawn's household rules are what goes on inside the Wells house stays inside the Wells house, and that's how you're a commandment keeper. And sometimes you have to give up your life when you don't follow the commandments. We know the 10 Commandments. We know the 10 Commandments. Go ahead, spit them out. Spit them out. You all know them. Hell, we start dying the minute we're born. Give your life because you didn't keep the commandments. That's not anywhere in there. No. Listen to that again.
We didn't summer and we didn't really make them listen, but we was trying to, help them understand the importance of that book in the future, because they're going to see all this stuff happen. The Sunday law and all that, it's going to happen in their time. And they're going to have to, all these kids today are going to have to make a choice tomorrow, about the Sunday law. And it could be like, they might have to give up their life in order to keep the commandments,
Mm-hmm. And there's Mark and Cher going, Those are the teachings of Ellen White, a prolific pedophile. Okay? She is bad. She's worse than Margaret Sanger. She's horrible. She's a horrible human being. Horrible. Well, when she was here, we can guess where she is now. That is not in the Bible. This is somebody that took a few passages from the Bible and made their own Bible. But it fits his lifestyle. So he's super cool with it.
But potentially these kids may never taste death. If they're alive when Jesus comes back, they'll never taste death. They'll that's kind of cool to think about. But it's going to get bad. And it's important for these kids to understand what's going to happen in the future. And that's where Ellen White's book comes in.
Ellen White's book on Zen. Okay, the only person in my household that's allowed to write their own Bible is OJ. Okay, everything goes his way, but he is an effing cat. Him and Chip and Finn, Cat's kitty cat, Uli's kitty cat, they have basically their own political movement about how to take advantage of their owners. Totally different story. And it sounds like it doesn't fit into this, but it's kind of the same, because someone cannot just tell you that the whole Bible is wrong, but just listen to Ellen White's book on Zen. You think I'm going to listen to that shit? No. 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 No, thank you. Because it was soon after this interview when Cher started going after that church. Debbie, Ellen White claimed to have visions. Okay, that's red flag number 1, which supported the Bible. That's red flag number 2, because either you believe the Bible, you don't support the Bible. It's all written there, and it's made clear. They did not write their own Bible. Her teachings are what have guided their church. And as far as the King James Version, yes, they teach that too. Yeah, I'm not listening to anyone's theory. Did Ellen White die on the cross? No. No. Then I'm not listening to her crusty old ass.
Explains, her book explains Revelations. This makes it understandable. Daniel's prophecies and all, it's so important.
Boston said, I'm really sick of him using religion and Bible. It's disgusting. Well, he only cherry picks it to make him and the teachings of Ellen White keep his conscience, I guess, somewhat clear. Okay? I don't care who knows my spirituality. I think it's pretty easy to tell. I'm Baptist, go to church, make fun of what the minister's wife wears, because she wears some fugly ass clothes. And when people go, I can't believe she goes to church, listen to how she talks. Well, imagine how I would act if I didn't go. Think about it. Very simple procedure to be spiritual.
I believe that with all my heart, and I like to share it with everybody if I can. But Summer loved it here. She could feel the spirit. She just danced around, and I just can't believe she's gone, just like that.
Well, one thing I want to say is you don't very often see children happy at church. But Summer, she seemed like she was really in her element there. It seemed like she loved it.
I don't know how many churches people have gone to, but I can tell you my kids grew up in church, and they really enjoyed church. They really did, especially as young ones. They really did. Now, they're not going to sit in the sanctuary and listen to all that. They have other stuff going on, arts and crafts, snacks. They've got all kinds of stuff going on, and they have fun with their friends. They have all that stuff going on. Now, when they get teenagers, you're just kind of like, I already know. I learned all that, Mom. Okay, well, you need to get with a good youth group, because I don't want you running with the wrong crowd.
And that was always it always gave me a good feeling in my heart when I saw that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put any churches down. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good churches, but there's a lot of children at this church, and usually they're like putting the children. I mean, children are at the forefront in this church, and I love that. That meant a lot to me. As far as this church. So, yeah.
Well, let's talk about his religion. Okay, religion is a label, as in, what is your religion? I'm Baptist. Okay, what is your spirituality? Then you just explain, if somebody asks you, you guys have seen me talk to the Jehovah's Witnesses that show up here and there, that come by here every now and then. He switched. This was like bipolar. He goes from Mormon, which he grew up with because his dad is Mormon. Don't have any idea how the Mormons accepted him, unless it's some kind of, another sect of it. Okay. Then he goes to the Baptist church, and they weren't having his ass at all. At all. He skedaddles down the road and he goes to the Seventh-day Adventist church because he found the teachings of Ellen White and went to all those Sabbath day classes to go through the teachings. Well, what did he learn that the other people didn't learn? Because he's the one with children in CPS custody. He's the one with a missing daughter. He's the one that's been accused of horrible things against children. What did he not get from the teachings? And again, perfect point Kat put up. Why would you leave the boys alone? Because CPS wasn't about the boys. They weren't there for them. They were there for Summer. That's the reason they kept Summer busy all day. I agree with Reba. That's the reason Dawn took the car. And they made sure to get broke knee Wells out of the house and use her car. So if they decide to come by a day early, well, no one's home. That's it. Well, we knocked on the door. We left a card. They're not here. And they detailed their entire day until they got home.
There's all these children who are extremely happy, and they have a private school if you can afford it. We was trying to get them into their private school because they teach, Bible principles and, the important things. And all these kids here are extremely happy. So that's very important. But not trying to put any of the churches down or anything like that. There's a lot of good churches.
No, I don't think you put anyone down. I think that's fine.
It was well said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
No, I think we got the gist. Now we have some kind of foundation to stand on until Cher comes out and tells us, what Candus is contacting her for and why she wants Cher getting after Dawn. Knowing us, not us, knowing Candus, it can have something to do with Donnie ain't giving me no money. Donnie won't scratch my back. Who knows with Candus? It could just be she was bored one afternoon and decided to ramp Cher up. Okay? I'm telling you. Could be. Could be. Hang on. I have a question. Where did Ellen White being a pedo come from? I'm not saying she is. She had some things to say about how to understand that mindset of loving children, because some people love children in different ways. And we should accept their love, and the child should accept the love because it's being thrust upon them through Jesus. I only know one way to read that. I don't think it has anything to do with being a commandment keeper. I'm not trying to be a theologist because there's no theology needed here. I think it's absolutely crazy. Well, I tell you what, you guys aren't crazy. Let's look at this. Lolo has been a member for 10 months. Muir Camp threw some moolah in for Brooks to have a good afternoon. By the way, that's a joke. September Angel, thank you for the super sticker. We got memberships coming in. Look at that. Angel P, we got 10. Raven put in 5. Well, I tell you what, you all make this channel thrive. Can't do without you. Wouldn't want to do without you. You can look up Ellen White you want. I suggest you not go to Google. I suggest you look at her book. Okay? Google censors. Google censors. We know that for a fact. So if you really want to know the teachings and you feel like your brain can handle it, have at it, my friends. All right. I've got some things to do this afternoon. And I will see you over in Discord. And until then, I will see you tomorrow because we have 2 shows tomorrow. You guys are the absolute best. Love ya.